I'm going to call the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, April 26th to order, and the first item is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I'll note that there's 3 changes that are posted. Item 3F, approval of renewal applications for first, second, and third-class liquor licenses, outside consumption permits and entertainment permits. Agenda addition of item 4A, public assemblage permit request for midsummer market, and a deletion, item 9, approval of the town's consent to the merger between Addison Partnership and the Smith Partnership, with the Addison Partnership being the surviving partnership. It's not ready for us yet, I take it. Is there anything else anybody would like to amend? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the amended agenda signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Who are we missing?
Farhad.
Ah. He's not dialed in, right? Okay. Next is approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
And seconded. I would like to note that it's a pretty full consent agenda. And so just to draw attention to a few things, Ken Prine has been, we're appointing Ken Prine on this consent agenda to the final remaining public seat on the Ilsley 100 project team. Very qualified candidate for that seat, and will be a nice round out of that committee.
Yahoo, that's great.
Yeah.
We dragged him out of the,
Did you drag him?
wherever he was hiding.
Kicking and screaming, I know.
A few years ago.
That's what he gets for coming out on
That's
the
right.
whole Seymour Street thing, right?
Another is an authorization for me to sign the certificate of local government approval for nonprofit organizations receiving Housing Opportunity Grant Program funds. It's a long thing, but it's for the Charter House Coalition to apply for a grant program. The town manager's report included a couple nice nuggets. The project kickoff meeting for the preliminary design of Court, Charles, and Monroe intersection, that dastardly intersection that seems to be the big holdup that we're trying to solve on the flow of Court Street. And a sidewalk from the rail platform to the downtown, and I think I read that we got a grant on that, $100,000 or something. So that's great. That's a great kickoff to getting that taken care of. So, and
Did we get an extension on that grant yet? Okay, perfect.
flood resiliency project is almost done or done now?
Almost done, just tidying up a few loose ends, landscaping.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to draw attention to? Anything in the notes that anybody would like to? There's a number of minutes. Are there any changes in the minutes that anybody needed to make? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda as written, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, next is citizen comments. Is there anybody here for something that is not on the agenda? Is there anybody online?
And no one online has their hand raised.
Okay, then we will move forward to a public assemblage permit request for the midsummer market. And Amy and Nan, you want to come forward?
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for adding us to the agenda. I'm Nan Carpenter. I'm the more fun Carpenter present tonight.
We'll all agree with that,
Yeah. I think I've met most of you. I'm Nan Carpenter, and I was appointed the manager for the new mid-market by Karen DeGay, and she unfortunately can't make it tonight. She has parental duties, conflict of interest, doing the Keywade and Keek Have you guys ever experienced
Yeah.
having kids going through the Keek program? So she's camping it out the last 2 days. So I'm gonna go over, we are looking to start this market. I know that Farhad gave you a little bit of information on it. I think it was in March. So I think you're familiar with some of it. I'm gonna go over the details and point by point. If you have any questions, just stop me or save it for the end. But basically, the market is going to be on Thursdays, starting May 19th. I know there was just like a little discrepancy with Farhad on the correct one, but I think you guys got the correct date of May 19th. It'll be every Thursday going until October 6th, weather permitting, if we don't get a snowstorm at that time or whatever the weather will be. It's going to be from 3 to 7 every evening, and it's open to everybody. We really want to have a diversity of different vendors, produce, homemade goods, basically artisans, anything that you could think of. We're really extending it out there. We've put flyers out already to pull in some vendors. We do have people signing up already, which is great. We need more. And basically, let's see, we're gonna have it in the Triangle Park. I have a map that I tried to put together to give you an idea. This is not the best map, but it gives you an idea. We're looking to have 12 to 15 vendors. We might have more if we have a lot of interest, but on the average, we're shooting for 12 to 15 vendors each Thursday. And we want to basically have it in the Triangle Park. There's going to be music supplied every Thursday, and the Town Hall Theater is contracted to do that. And we're hoping to put the band in the gazebo where there's electricity. We do have some vendors that need electricity, so I don't know if you can conceptualize the park in your mind, but there's the area closest to the lights that has electricity, so we have about 4 spots that we could put people there. I will let Amy talk about the electricity issue that we're encountering, but I'll pass this around. The vendor spaces are gonna be 10 by 10. So we're thinking in the green grass area.
Thanks.
We can fit in about 7 vendors, and then 2 and 2 near where the rocks are. We're thinking if we need to and we have more people, we'd like to possibly extend it to Merchants Row. And I don't know if you've been aware, but there was the bundle market that they had at one point, and certain vendors were put along there. We are asking permission to have the business owners on Main Street or wherever else to potentially have a sidewalk sale and to be able to put their wares out in front of their store. We like to encourage businesses to stay open till 7 if they can, just to get people to go around town. We're looking at any businesses going into Frog Hollow to hopefully have them participate in this also. We want it to grow, so we're hoping that we'll need more space. And we're gonna have a food truck only occasionally. We don't want it every week. We're thinking maybe once a month, if the need is out there, maybe twice a month. But it will basically, the truck will basically be by the Town Hall Theater alley, and that's we're hoping to have that there. Any questions so far? I've kind of hit a lot of points.
I'm a little confused on the geometry of this. Sorry.
It's a horrible.
No, I get that.
The best I could.
But my understanding, and I pulled up an aerial just because, is the gazebo is kind of, the church is kind of between the gazebo and Triangle Park?
I know, so the gazebo, if you go towards the right,
Yeah,
you're facing the church, you go towards the right. If you take that little sidewalk, the gazebo's there.
yeah,
So we're thinking that we might even put a couple of vendors so that the flow goes toward.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
there also. So that's where you see a couple of extra squares on the map.
It's a fairly decent line of sight between the two.
Okay.
And in years past, when we've had Spectacular, we've always
Mhm.
had the MC in that
Yep.
area, and it's carried over fairly well.
Okay,
We're hoping.
good.
She was the architect for our house.
She gave you, and the drawing she gave you were?
Not to scale, and don't ask me to measure anything.
It's all good.
I never hear the end of measuring our new refrigerator, and my wall had to go down because the new refrigerator came in and it wasn't the correct measurement. So.
Yikes.
Okay.
I'm silent on that.
Let's see. We're gonna have a booth along with all the other vendors. It's kind of gonna be the Better Middlebury Partnership booth, where we actually had a meeting with some businesses that were able to Zoom. It was supposed to be in person. Karen was not well. Fortunately, she was a victim of the COVID. So we had it on Zoom. Not everybody was able to make it, but we are still going to connect with some of the business owners so that we encourage that their businesses are going to succeed with this too. So we came up with the idea, if you have any promotions, any flyers that they want to put into that tent area, we're looking at kind of coming up with a map to show where other businesses are in town, that if people go there, they can see what else. They can see, where to go eat, other food options. So we did that. We're looking to have one tent option for nonprofit organizations. I know we have one set already for May 19th. We have, let's see, we're also kind of reaching out to the farmers market. We're really trying to encourage them to pass it along to their vendors, to try it out, to come into this market, to see how they like it downtown. So we're giving them a discount, half the price, 50% off than what it would cost to have a table there and a tent. And we've actually had some of the vendors already reaching out to us too. They're very excited about that. So we'll see how that's encouraged. We are offering 1 to 2 table tents that we can supply for emerging artists. It's their first time, they don't have anything, they want to see how it's going to go. They don't have to pay the fee, and we're helping them out with a table and tent. So we have excited people on that. Oh, let's see. Karen's going to come up with a better map to really show where the vendors are going to be, because that's what we're going to give to the vendors in an email so they know where they're going to be. Also, loading and unloading. Karen did reach out to Tom Hanley, and his suggestion, because we were thinking, are we going to have to cone off a couple of parking spaces, but he came up with a good idea. Again, where the map is, it's not that great, but in front of the church and kind of on Merchants Row, there's those crosswalks, and they have the cobble by them, so it makes it kind of wide. He suggested having that as a spot for drop-off for loading and unloading. So the market's starting at 3. We're telling vendors you need to be there at 2, no sooner than 2, and you have to be done by 2:45, so you're ready to go at 3. And the same thing, it goes until 7, so they're gonna have to take everything down. So those spots will be used. And Tom Hanley said to come up with a sign that says crosswalk is closed, so we keep the safety. But we're not closing anything else off. There's not gonna be a road closed or anything. Does that make sense? Everybody clear on that? I now have some more points. Amy, did you have anything to add?
I just want to add that there are a couple of other events that are happening in town that we will avoid. For instance, Festival and Green, we won't have a market that week. We don't want to be in competition, certainly not direct competition with other things that are happening.
If you could go before, if you could, no, too hard to coordinate, never mind.
We are going to coincide with, we spoke with Lloyd Comsar with the Middlebury Film Makers Festival. So he at first had questions and was concerned it was going to be too much for both of the events to occur on a Thursday together, but when he found out about it, he was all on board. So it looks like we're a go for that time frame too.
That would be good.
Yeah.
With the vendors, one of the concerns, Leanne alluded to it, is the availability of power in Triangle Park. And what we have discovered during other events when we've tried to set up things that required power is that the power outlets are up at the top of the pole. And so, on more than one occasion, don't tell OSHA, I have climbed a ladder to get up there to, get the lights or whatever. Or we've had a bucket truck out there, or, somebody out there to plug in, the lights. So one thing just to think about, and Kathleen and I talked about this might be more of a DIDC, thought, but about moving the power or somehow trying to figure out where we can have a centrally located power source, similar to what the college did over on the park here, where they have a locked box, and when they have an event there, they give you the key, you unlock the box, you plug your stuff in, and it provides enough power to whomever is doing their thing there. So I just wanted to make a note of that. We will have to provide power, I'm sure, to some of the vendors here, and it will probably be in the form of extension cords, I imagine. Which, is unsightly and a tripping hazard, and probably some electrical, it's probably not the best way to provide power to multiple sources. I think if the town's okay with us tapping into that power, that's really the only way we can really do that.
What's the power for?
I think the vendors will probably need power sources for different things that they have at their
There's
tables.
gonna be some food, so they'll need to plug in to keep food warm or to keep
Cold.
food cold. Like we're gonna have, like an icy station, so they're gonna. So we are looking to also have some, alcohol makers come. I'm still trying to figure out, because we're requesting that. Now, we've never done this, because I know you've done the stroll, and usually anybody who's brought their alcohol and have given samplings, it's been on, business property. So we're working through that, they're requesting it, we'd like them to be able to do that. We're not gonna have like an alcohol section, they'll be intermingled, kinda like the farmer's market, they've had that too, where they've had different, people come, and I don't know though if they've ever let people sample it at the
I
farmer's
don't,
market.
Karen's reached out to Ann Webster, and they've been coordinating or communicating about the process to do that.
Yeah,
think
we're,
that can
we're
be-
aware that anybody who might bring their alcohol has to fill out a farmer's market through the, Vermont state.
DLC.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So we'll make sure, because I know the requirement is that they are trained with the DLC, like how to check for, IDs and all that stuff, and being responsible, so. But that's something we like to offer. I don't have anybody so far, but we haven't really pursued and knocked on people's door yet, but that's something we would like to see. It will be a rain or shine event. The only way that we'll cancel it if the weather's dangerous, and vendors will have to be,
Lightning?
pardon me? Yeah, lightning, yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt. So we'll have to refund the vendors in a case like that, but it would kind of be a day of decision. I think we'd know by then if we were gonna get bad weather. We're constructing a vendor market rules and regulation form, because I know that's something that goes with the alcohol permit also. They have to present our rules and regulations. Karen's already come up with a good form, but we haven't tweaked it yet. But basically, it's just letting people know when they're not welcome back, and making sure that they're responsible for cleaning up their own messes. And I think we'll have some bins for people, those who are coming to the market to be able to have access to trash potentially, but the vendors themselves have to take care of their own
And
trash.
the DPW has been great, like when we've had other events, they just put extra bags out, we bag it up, leave it by the trash cans, and they come and pick it up pretty quickly.
And the last thing is basically, I'm sure people are gonna be looking for bathrooms, so Karen's looking into maybe getting a porta potty. I think, I was just asking Amy, like, what does Festival on the Green do? And they think they tuck in a porta potty use behind that.
Behind safety, I think so.
Yeah. So she's gonna look at the cost of that. I mean, it is just so many hours. It'd be nice if some places would be open at the time, potentially here, I don't know, where we could say there's bathrooms in these locations.
Yeah, the issue with the porta potty, I think, is that you wouldn't wanna pick it up and deliver it every week, and so then the cost is exponentially higher. You can lock them. Seems weird to have a porta potty and somebody sees it, goes over to it, can't get in, and and does what they do somewhere close by. So we're trying to figure that out. It's only 3 to 7, so it's not like an all-day event.
We do have the porta potty out here that's already set out here, so you could potentially point people to the direction of the parking lot out here.
Make a lot of sense,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that'd be great.
It's probably be the default.
Cause that will stay, that's there until fall, so.
Perfect, well,
It is,
that might solve
it is
things
a,
right there.
A handicap
Yeah, it's on the
accessible porta potty out there,
Oh,
so.
good. So that's everything I had to present to you.
Awesome.
And I hope I covered most of the things, but I'm sure you guys have questions.
It sounds like you guys are providing tents and tables for some of the vendors?
Just, we only have enough for about 2 vendors.
And so that's for the new artists and the nonprofit, or just the new artists?
No, the nonprofit will have to
Perfect.
supply their own, so
Sure.
it's just the newbies.
I think probably, I would say, any of the ones that are here locally probably have a 10 by 10 tent. And I have a couple extra tables at my office, so if need be, I can haul them out.
Be generous, thank you.
Any questions? Pleasure of the board.
I move to approve the public assemblage permit for the Better Middlebury Partnership Midsummer Market Series located at Triangle Park and Merchants Row, pending state permitting and public safety review.
Second.
All approved? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you have a question?
No. Aye.
Oh, you look like you was going.
I know, you look
I
like
know.
something on his mind.
That was a big eye coming out of there.
It's all good.
That's, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Really hope that goes well, so.
I think,
Very exciting.
There's a good buzz already about it, so I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
I think people are really excited, so
That's-
it's great.
It is exciting, it's great, thanks.
All right, thank you so much.
One thing I do know, they've coordinated with the Middlebury Inn, and Middlebury Inn is moving their jazz night to Wednesdays.
Oh,
Nice.
So, Nan and I tried it out last Thursday, and it was very, very nice. So, town of Middlebury is not dead.
no, it's not dead.
That's awesome.
Next is appointments to boards, committees, commissions, and official positions. And in accordance with 24 VSA, Section 127, 308, the board will appoint candidates to the town's open board, committee, commission, and town officer positions. And we have a slate of candidates in front of us that the board placed in nomination at our April 12th meeting. Of note, 5 panels have more applicants than open positions. That's the first time we've had this many interested people, and believe me, we have been struggling over this as we look through it. I asked for some opinions, and every single person who put in applications have a level of experience that makes them of value to that particular board or committee, and so this is not going to be an easy decision. So with that, let's jump in. So the first one is the Planning Commission. I'm just going to go from page 1 through page 4 in that order, if you want to follow along with that. Planning Commission. I would like to first thank Barbara Saunders, who is stepping down. She's seeking not to be reappointed. Barbara's been on the Planning Commission for quite a while and chaired it most recently. And so thank you, Barbara, for your service. And then Angela Landis is seeking reappointment. And then Ethan Kellogg and Phyllis Stinson. So let me find my applications here so I can follow along with the applications.
I would note that Ethan Kellogg is in our audience.
Okay. Looking through, as by matter of course, which might help us with this, those that are on all of the different boards or committees and commissions that are seeking reappointment, given that we do not have a policy on rotation, we've talked about it, but we haven't actually established one. At this point, I think it would behoove us to keep them on the board while we work on their committees, while we work through it, and so that we're working basically on new applications to appoint to different committees. Just a thought in, as we go through and deliberate on this. So that's just my thought. We've created a buzz a few years ago by replacing people and not having a policy, and we really need to get to the point of tracking how many terms, and if we want to create some sort of a rotation. Our intent was to try to have new blood and just provide opportunities for people to serve. And it didn't go the way we had intended, so. On the lesson learned category, I would say we should keep them until we actually have a process by which we do it. That's my thought, my 2 cents.
So one suggestion I had would, if possible, and I hate to ask Kathleen for more work, but maybe Crystal could fill in, is to add years served, a column on that spreadsheet that shows us some indication of how long they've been serving. Not that, just so we have that for more information.
One other piece that I think sometimes comes up here is that attendance is not always great, and that's something that I would tend to want to consider when I'm looking at re-upping people for boards and commissions.
How many meetings yeah,
Yeah.
can we add that column too? That's a great suggestion. So the other thing I worry about too, when we have such a great list of people to choose from, is if they keep applying and we don't get them in, that they'll say, well, I keep applying, but I never get a chance, so that's one thing I think about too, and why I want to see some of these other people who have interest have an opportunity as well. But it's obviously a very big struggle for me to figure out how to do that.
Several of our boards and committees have alternates. Is that something that we've created, or is that, so we could conceivably at least create an alternate in each of the committees?
Not necessarily for the ones that are state statute,
Right.
right?
Right.
So planning, the commissions, so the planning commissions, the development review board, some of those we don't have the ability to.
Well, that would be a good one, because we could use space there. I mean, we have, those
Right.
are the ones that are contested the most.
Right. I'm not sure about the design advisory committee. I can't remember on that one.
Because I was gonna say for the planning commission, we just created an alternate, but that's a no.
Kathleen can confirm, but I don't think so.
For the planning commission, we can't make an alternate position.
That's my understanding, yes.
And the DRB, same thing?
Right.
Okay.
Yuck.
You had one in the past,
Mhm.
but I think that's before we fully understood that wasn't specified in statute.
Okay.
So if we do reappoint incumbents, looking at Ethan and Phyllis as two candidates. Is it either, you said Ethan is in the audience?
Yes.
Would Ethan care to share with us his thoughts on how he would promote this decision?
Hi, Ethan, I'm bringing you into the meeting. Be in transit now.
Just by reading the application.
Kathleen, do you encourage candidates to attend the appointment select board meeting?
I
You
don't
do not?
encourage or
Okay, that's fine.
discourage.
Very good.
Hi, Ethan.
Hi.
Hi, Ethan. As you probably hear us,
Nice to meet you all.
yeah, nice to meet you. You probably hear us struggling with this decision here.
Yeah, it sounds like I need some different rules, and I don't know how it works too much, but
So why don't you give some highlights of your interest in this position?
okay. I mean, I've attended several of the planning commission. I just moved to Middlebury in last August, and I've attended several of the planning commission. I think 2 or 3 of them to try to figure out how it works and that kind of stuff. And really enjoyed it, and definitely enjoyed the projects that the planning commission is working on. And a big thing for me is housing affordability, and I don't have any formal experience in planning, but I'm a striving grad school candidate, so I want to go to grad school for planning. So I thought this would be a real great way to learn about the field more and really make a difference in the town. So I think that there should be more I think the building code should be loosened and easier to build, allow for more density, limit suburban sprawl. There's a lot of reasons for all that, but I really enjoyed reading about the Middlebury Master Plan that came out a couple years ago. And I liked the direction that was going for all the locations that they were chosen around town that could be developed upon.
Do you know her?
And yeah, I want to get in and work on that stuff and make Middlebury a more livable, walkable community. So I thank you for having me apply and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ethan. Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah, you too.
Is Phyllis
Back in the audience.
with us by any chance?
Not online.
Not online, not here. Okay.
Phyllis has applied for 3.
3 possibilities,
And
and they're
the
not
3 most
rank ordered.
contentious.
What's that?
The 3 most contentious.
Right, and I did read that they're not in rank order,
Right.
so.
So we can delay the difficult.
There is more information on the board and committee appointments that does rank her choice. Like on Development Review Board, it says her 3rd choice.
Well, I think that's because that was the way they were listed here.
Oh, okay. But
But
on
she
her
just-
application, it
On her
says not.
application,
Okay.
she's said these
Okay.
aren't. So, pleasure of the board. Would anybody care to make a recommendation on this one?
I would move the appointment of Angela Corbin-Landis and Ethan Kellogg to the Planning Commission.
I agree.
Second, okay.
Seconding?
Okay, second. Didn't know we were voting. I didn't
No,
hear
We're
it.
not
voting.
voting.
We're not
We're not
I didn't know,
voting.
I didn't hear it was a motion.
Oh, yeah, you made a motion.
You're
Are you
supposed to
s-
keep me awake.
Yeah, I'm trying,
Okay.
I'm trying here, I'm trying.
Okay.
I didn't bring my baseball bat.
And,
That works.
I think what we'll do is we'll vote them as we go through it. So,
We can.
any comments on the motion to appoint Angela and Ethan? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed?
We could put do this.
Okay. Thank you, Ethan. And
Committee.
next is the Development Review Board. Rick Emelo, I would like to thank Rick also on deciding to step down from his appointment. I'm not sure how many years, but I know Rick has done a lot of service to the community over the years, and so thank you, Rick. Mark Wilch, an incumbent, is asking he's seeking reappointment. And then we have 4 candidates for Rick's 3-year position. Vigor Bowe, Michael Reeves, Jonathan Miller, and Phyllis Stinson.
So Michael Reeves is here in our audience, and we also have Jonathan Miller on Zoom.
Okay, so, Michael, you want to just refresh that we met you at the last meeting, but just to refresh the
Oh,
board
hi.
here.
So hi, again, I'm Michael Reeves. I live 719 Washington Street Extension, so up on what is called Bushy Hill, Bushy Curve. And so, as I explained last week, I've had a lot of interactions with the Development Review Board over the last year. And I've become really familiar with their processes. I think it's a good role for me to come into as into a position within the town and serve the town. As I explained last week, I'm a social worker. I'm a professor at Castleton, and want to bring that perspective to some of these decisions that are being made, and supporting vulnerable populations, while at the same time making sure that we maintain the small New England town vibe that we have here. So it's a careful balancing act. But I think I would be a good person for this position, and I would appreciate your support.
Any questions that you would like to ask him?
Thanks for being
Okay.
here.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Michael.
And so I'll promote Jonathan Miller. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
You're on mute.
Jonathan, would you care to share with the board your interest in this position?
I'm interested in serving for any of the committees that I have for all of it. Whatever I can ask. Commission, I'm a very technically minded person. My dad was a city planner. That's all about it. Started working with the Redevelopment Authority in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And currently I write specifications for master stuff. All the other specifications. I've also served on a number of boards, mostly professional boards, but also co-op boards. President, Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, Chairman of many committees, including CSI Certification Committee, where I So with that expertise, I am positioned to understand infrastructure, positioned to understand design and design review. I've been a technical architect most of my life, but I've also been a project designer. So I think that's some credentials as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any questions that you would have?
No.
Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. I do know I have Vigor's application in front of me. He's worked for the town since May of '99, lived in town since 2011. I saw something about him having some real estate. I guess not. And then Jonathan,
And
Phyllis.
Jonathan has also put his name in for
He's got 3
infrastructure.
DIDC, was it the other one?
A minute ago.
It's the IDC.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, both
Yes.
Phyllis and Jonathan have interest in the DIDC.
Yep.
Can't find Phyllis's application.
It's towards the
Beginning.
Up towards the beginning, that's right.
It's after
Just
Ethan.
looked at her.
Yeah, because it's after Ethan's,
Yeah, I looked at it already.
page 3 of the 38 pages.
Okay. Yeah. Thoughts on this slate? Boy,
I know, this is a tough one, but a good one.
I'll nominate Mark Welch and Michael Reeves.
I'll second.
we have a nomination for Mark Welch and Michael Reeves. Any comments on it? Questions? Hearing none? Did you say,
More so like a comment. I was just thinking, about Phyllis, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Because I see, when I look at the makeup of the board, because everyone seems, from their application, qualified, but yeah, Phyllis stuck out to me.
So, we have a motion already?
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to know.
It's this tough.
I know, it's tough.
I think all 4 of them would do a fabulous job on the board. And so, how do you choose just one? I don't know.
I think what you're saying is diversity and
Yes.
makeup of the board on diversity case. In this case, it's going to be all males except for one, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Jeez.
Yes, Brian.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I was thinking about that.
Board care to take that into consideration? And is this a board that brings anything to the discussion?
Almost all of our boards are dominated by males, significantly.
Yeah.
Is there another one, that Phyllis?
Well, Phyllis is also in for the
That's what I put
DIDC. And there's only one position there, but there's 3 applicants, but the DIDC, we could put an
An
alternate in there,
Yeah. But we can't for the DRB.
and that might be a good place to put it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and we've had some discussion on the comment. We ready to vote then? Okay, so all in favor of the motion to nominate Mark Welch and Michael Reeves to the Development Review Board, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Me, aye.
Is that an opposition?
Opposition,
Nay.
yes. Sorry, okay. First time I'm opposing, so.
All right.
That's okay.
Mhm.
It's good.
It's good to have opposing.
And for a good reason,
Yeah.
which I
I
appreciate.
think
Agree
putting
with the
that
reason.
reason on the record is important. So, congratulations, Michael. Design Advisory Committee, we have, we have 2 positions, 3 applicants. The 2 incumbents are seeking reappointment, and George Marcus is a new applicant seeking appointment.
Is this a committee we can put an alternate on also?
I think you could.
Because George Marcus has got a resume
Wow.
that's just as amazing. We need
Yeah.
to bring him in the fold.
Are you ready to make a motion?
Want to do it?
No, I just said, are you ready to make a motion?
Well, I move to appoint Natalie Peters and Glenn Andrews and make George Marcus an alternate.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Quick question, if there's a board with an opening, are we obliged to fill it only at this organizational meeting, or can we fill it on a rolling basis?
Rolling basis.
Very good.
If somebody drops off, we can fill
If there's a vacancy and no one drops off, and someone expresses an interest outside of the
it.
cycle?
Oh, if we didn't get a fill on
Yeah.
something, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Addison County Regional Planning Commission, it's got 3 positions, 3 applicants.
Who's this deadbeat dropping off of there?
That's,
Slacker.
we have a Mr. Andy Hooper who's dropping off. Thank you, that was a great, so this is where breaking into the community and getting to know the community.
Oh,
Well, that's how I got on the select board too, is I was on the, we used to call it the Town Infrastructure Committee, it was Public Works.
sure.
I was on the Public Works Committee for quite a few years. Pleasure of the board?
Yeah, I'll move the appointment of Ross Conrad, Hugh McLaughlin, and Barbara Greenwald to the Addison County Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
Any comments on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
I'll make a motion to appoint Hugh McLaughlin to the Addison County Regional Planning Commission as our TAC delegate.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll also make a motion to appoint Donald Keeler to the Sports Commission.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I'll move to appoint Kathleen Ramsey, our delinquent tax collector.
Second.
I don't know, I've got too many, I've gotten a lot of broken arms reported and stuff. I don't know.
She takes Tina with her.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll move to appoint Fred Dunnington, Tim Hollander, and Ginny Highland to be our fence viewers.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And Beth, thank you for, I don't know how many years of service to our community, but I know it ranks up there amongst those with the most years of service, so thank you very much. Beth is stepping down from being a fence viewer, is going into full retirement almost here. She's gonna travel?
No, Beth stepped up to be a fence viewer a couple of years ago, but she's.
That was when we couldn't get it.
That's when we couldn't get any applicants.
She always stepped it up for
That's nice.
lots of different things, so. Okay,
I'll move to appoint Fred Dunnington to the as town grand juror.
I think we have to appoint all these officers?
Yes, you have to appoint all of these.
Oh,
These
all
are
of them,
terms.
sorry.
Just appoint all of them, then you gotta go.
Yeah.
Should I save all? I'll move to appoint all officers, or do you want me to list them all? First Constable Chief Tom Hanley, Second Constable Barry Barclay, Town Agent Fred Dunnington, Town Grand Juror Fred Dunnington, Town Service Officer Kathleen Ramsey, Tree Warden Chris Zioli, Zoning Administrative Officer Jennifer Murray, Deputy Zoning Administrative Officer
There you
David
go.
Wetmore.
Second.
all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, DIDC.
And who have we not between Phyllis and Jonathan?
We haven't appointed either of them.
Okay.
It's Jonathan's third choice.
And he's also down for infrastructure,
Infrastructure, which is
which,
even more contended.
yeah.
And we could have an alternate on the DIDC?
Yes.
That is our understanding.
He's a pretty good, strong candidate for,
They all are.
yeah, he's an
They-
architect.
They all are.
Yeah, I know.
And
He's a design engineer, right?
Yeah.
And he's a manufacturing company, but,
Yeah, but he had some engineering experience, I think, didn't he?
probably.
Just a little side conversation, we're gonna,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying, you
Yeah.
know, because this kind of reflects on infrastructure also, because the names are.
oh, the discussion on this one, I'm
So
with you.
Yep.
it would be kind of talking about them together.
Yeah.
I was just asking the chair of the infrastructure committee. She's remaining very neutral over here.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Bill Cunningham, reappoint Bill Cunningham to the Downtown Improvement District and set up an alternate, and appoint Phyllis Stinson to the alternate position for the Downtown Improvement District.
second.
Any comments on that? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay. Town Energy Committee?
I'll move to appoint Richard Hopkins, Steve Mayer, and Michael Roy.
Second?
Any comments on that motion? And Lisa had been on there for a while. I don't know if I
That's a good
know
term.
Lisa, but Lisa, I know you're stepping down, so thank you for your service on our Town Energy Committee, which has been very busy.
active, yep.
Yeah, gotten a lot of stuff moved forward, so pretty exciting, given the times. All in favor of the motion for Richard, Steve, and Michael, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Town Infrastructure Committee.
Jeff Backus is here.
And we talked with Jonathan. And Richard was here at our last select board meeting, and he was also at the infrastructure committee meeting last week.
Did you say Jeff was?
Jeff's here.
Jeff is here.
There you are, okay. Come on forward, yes.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations to everyone who's newly elected or re-elected to the select board. Thank you for your service. My interest in the infrastructure committee probably stems back to my experiences in the town as a young parent, someone who's lived in the town for about 5 years, and just trying to get under the hood a little bit and see how we can make Middlebury more sustainable to build a thriving community for the future. I notice on a lot of these committees, there are folks with engineering, design, planning backgrounds. I myself have a design and engineering background, but I think one of the real strengths that I would bring is a perspective of someone who has kids in school today and who's planning to be here for the long term. I notice, aside from the diversity questions that are brought up, a lot of committee members have a wealth of life experience. And I think that I would like to see the town moving forward with as many different views and in a diversity of ages, genders, and in every other way. So I think it's amazing that we have so many applicants. It's really incredible. It's something that it sounds like has not happened in a long time. And I thought that out of all of the committees where I saw myself fitting in, having attended the infrastructure committee last week, it really seemed to pull at, some of my core interests in building the town together. So I really appreciate the efforts of all of you and the time you put into it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for being here, Jeff.
Are you the dad with the rad power bike? Is that you?
I'm one of them.
Okay. Okay.
With the rat.
Well, it's a brand. It's
Yeah, I
you commute with your kids on your bike.
I do. Yeah, I haven't driven our Subaru as often anymore.
Cool.
But
Oh, is that the one with, how many kids do you have on that?
they're getting big. I had 2 on it today, but with their backpacks, I'm gonna have to come up with some other cargo. It's sort of a minivan.
I've seen it.
Minivan bike?
Okay, now
Put the trailer in the back. And
Is that like what Gussie's got? Gus?
Gus Brakely?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the same bike.
Has he got the same bike? I saw him taking his kids to school this morning, and they were piled on the back. It looked like a minivan bike.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
more like a
cool.
minivan than a bike.
Oh, man. Okay.
I don't have anything else to add.
No, you're great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
So there's only 5 positions on the infrastructure committee,
No.
plus the 2 select board.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Yes.
and you already have an alternate there.
Yes, Matt Bishop has resigned from the committee. And Eric Remsen, who is the current alternate, has been attending regularly and filling in for Matt. So I would request that the board consider appointing Eric to a full member of the committee. I think that's a good next step for him, as having served alternate and filled in Matt's absence.
Okay, so that means that we would have.
We
just
have
a-
an alternate.
We have an alternate position.
One position to
Okay,
fill.
thanks.
Yes, well.
Is that
or
expanding the
4 to-
board?
What?
Is that expanding the board?
No. We have an alternate already.
Okay.
The alternate's in the middle of that list.
That's a small.
Yeah, I see that, but I see 3 positions seeking reappointment, and then 3 new candidates for 3 seats?
No.
Right, but Eric is gonna move
You
into
got-
Matt
you got one
DeBishop's.
up top that has recently stepped down.
Oh.
He's got his own business.
Oh,
It's
yours
unfortunate.
Oh, I'm looking at an old version. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness. I'm looking at last meeting's version, which has Matt remaining. Never mind.
Mm.
So we're looking for one alternate.
Correct.
Somebody wanna flip a coin? Cause I don't know how else to choose. I don't. I wish I could put all 3 of them on the committee.
and it's a good time to say, of course, anybody is welcome to come to any meeting. They're all public.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
I will nominate Candy McLaughlin, Judy Weiger-Rose, Luther Tenney to Infrastructure Committee, and Jeff Bratzbis as an alternate.
Second.
And moving Eric to the,
And move Eric from alternate to a full
full
position.
member.
Yep.
You good with that? You seconded?
Yeah, yeah.
Boy, these are tough. It does,
That's for sure.
you know, I'm just looking at it though, but Jeff has made a good point. When you're looking at diversity, the diversity of age is also something to consider. And he's probably our only youthful applicant here. Not that, you know, he makes,
A lot of retired people that can make a 9 AM Thursday meeting.
yeah.
It's a challenging time.
That's a good point.
Okay, comments on the motion? Any comments
My
on
my only disappointment is that I wanted to get Jonathan Miller in on something, and this does not get him a position. And he had interest in 3, so,
What we've done in the past, though, is we take this list of people who we didn't get a position for, and as we have needs or boards, we reach out to them.
yep.
Yeah, I know, there's a number
don't know,
of,
you
there's
know,
a number
it
of
might
very
be worth-
qualified people that we're not appointing tonight because there's not space.
You know, one thing to consider is asking, I know he didn't list it on his thing, but one committee that does have room, 2 vacancies, is the Sports Commission. And I don't know if any of the people who might not get a spot in what their first choice would, might consider trying that out even for a year and just see.
Do they even meet?
I think they do.
Does he even
They-
meet? Does Don meets with himself? That'd be.
No, there's other,
Be
so
entertaining.
it's a combination board, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is the Middlebury's portion of that board.
Got it.
So it's not just Don Keeler.
Yes.
Is it regional or is it school and town or?
I thought it was regional.
Region. It's the Sports Commission.
Oh,
It's
man,
like
we're
related to
really,
Memorial Sports Center, right?
Yeah.
It
It's
runs-
other
it runs the
towns,
sports
other
center.
towns in,
Well, it's like the Middlebury area.
right, yeah.
okay.
I would have to look it up to remember who's on it, but anyway. So one thing to consider is maybe people who didn't get a spot tonight, see if any of them would consider that, because there are 2 vacancies on that.
And we could reach out to them with vacancies like on the Sports Commission, if there's anything else that we have, or like Brian says, when vacancies occur, keep them in mind.
Which they do almost every year.
Okay, any other comments? So we have a motion, There's a motion for, I'm losing my space here. There's moving Eric into a full-time position, reappointing Candy, Judy, and Luther, and appointing Jeff as the new alternate.
Right.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
So Jeff, just for reference, you should plan to come to all the
Every meeting.
meetings, because there's always, not always.
big.
There is often at least one person not there, and you will have the opportunity, you always have the opportunity to participate, but you will probably more than likely also have voting, because, you know, people's schedules, they have to miss meetings, so you should plan to come to all the meetings as alternate.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have one question, and it sounds like the alternates vote regularly.
Yes.
Would there be an appetite to have a, maybe not now, but in the future, to have a first alternate and a second alternate if there's that much absenteeism?
We talked about that before the meeting tonight. We need to look at that, but we've got some names now if we decide we want to do that. We haven't had that opportunity previously, but we'll have to look at the committees and the participation and if there is absenteeism.
So, you know, like Jonathan and Richard or anyone else who we haven't appointed tonight, like Lindsay said earlier, these are open committee meetings and people can attend and participate even though they are not sitting on the board. So I hope that we get people to participate even if they're not appointed, so.
Okay, moving along, Parks and Recreation Committee. We've got 3 positions. 2 of them, these are termed. 2 are 3-year terms. 1 is a 1-year term. Kyle Mitchell resigned in 2021, and we haven't refilled that position. Megan Curran and Carl Robinson are seeking reappointment. And then we have Isabel Gogarty, Ethan Murphy, and Melissa Kin. And are any of those 3 here?
We have Ethan online. I'll promote him to panelist.
Hi, Ethan. Care to share with us your interest in the Parks and Recreation Committee?
Yeah, thank you for considering me for considering my application for that role in the Parks and Recreation Committee. I hope you all had a chance to read my letter of interest, but if not, I could do a quick recap here. I've been in Middlebury since 2008. I have 2 kids. I've married Hogan right now, one about to move on to months next year. And this is kind of my first dip of my toes into local government, and it's given me a chance to dive into the Middlebury Town planning report, the Vermont recreation master plan, those kinds of things. I attended my first Parks and Rec meeting. All candidates were invited last week, and that was great to see that process. And I really just want to kind of work as part of that committee in an advisory role to your board. And I'm really interested in kind of enhancing the outdoor recreational programming and opportunities that the town has to offer. I'm working with a group of people right now on what we're calling the Middlebury Skateboard project. And that's kind of my laser focus, but I was a little late to this meeting tonight because I'm also coaching baseball and partake in all the many recreational resources and opportunities that the town already has to offer. So I think I can be an asset, and I'd like to get involved.
Okay. Thank you, Ethan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Did you say there was another one on?
There is not.
Okay. I know I'm hearing a lot of buzz about the skateboard park and,
They're on the Front Porch Forum.
yeah, and that we looked at that back when I was on the Parks and Rec Committee. And I forget what the impediment was in moving that forward at the time, but there was interest, and there was some funds that could go towards it, potentially at the time, so donor funds, and we just couldn't get it moving. Along with bocce ball, and we had,
Big ideas.
oh geez, yep. So can be a very active committee, and certainly we have need for it on both ends of the spectrum. From children to the retirees.
All the way from skateboarding to pickleball.
Yeah.
That's when we got, that was when I was on the committee, when we got pickleball going. That was, I couldn't believe how fast that grew.
Just retired from hockey. I have a suggestion.
Yes?
I would recommend we appoint Megan and Carl to 3-year terms. And I think this is an opportunity to put Isabel, who seemed to have an outstanding resume for this, into the 1-year billet, and then make an alternate with Ethan.
Yes.
For what term?
What term? Ethan would
How
be-
many years would the alternate serve?
I don't know. Don't they
We
normally?
generally don't put terms
Sure,
on
that's
the
what I said.
alternates. They're there for life, till they're.
Wow.
Till they're promoted to.
They usually fleet up.
I see.
I would second that.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, was that a motion? I'll
Yes,
second.
that's a motion.
Yeah, I
I
was
took it as a
wondering.
Don't know these
I would have
procedures.
seconded too.
Oh, I'm gonna let Esther second it,
That was so,
because you were very excited.
yes, so excited. I'll second that.
Okay. Comments on the motion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The last is the Conservation Commission. Pleasure of the board.
I'll make a motion to appoint Charlotte Tate and Amy Sheldon to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Phew.
Okay.
Can we go home now?
Not quite yet.
So I would like to
best we
thank
could for the
everybody
town.
who applied, and I would like to encourage those who we did not appoint yet to not give up, and we've captured your name now, you're on a short list.
And we are happy to be in the position of having too many candidates who want to participate in our wonderful
So I
town.
was thinking, could we put something out in the email blast and just thank them all? Just how appreciative the board is in having such a hard decision to make, and thank you, and
Are you talking about incorporating that into the highlights?
I'm thinking of doing it however it's easiest for you. I just would,
Well,
I guess I'd like something a little bit
send them
separate.
a note myself.
I'll
Oh, very
I'll
nice.
follow us.
So we can talk about that, but I'd like to send them a note from the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is truly, I mean, 8:15. We're supposed to be done at 7:30. We would normally be done at 7:30. That, we struggled with that one. so.
I just want to express appreciation for people stepping up and,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
showing interest, and thank them for that. Thanking them for making our job extremely difficult.
You know, there's a lot of good energy in the town right now after what we've gone through, so
Yeah.
this is just
It's great.
indicative of what it is.
It's great. It's great to see.
Hey,
Okay, not to try to prolong the board meeting any longer.
One-
While you're waiting, while we're talking, you can bring Chief on, or is he gonna come on?
one quick comment. In Montpelier, we kind of skirted our obligations here, and we actually had an executive session when we had extra positions under some portion of that to discuss the candidates outside of the public view, which was certainly easier. Yeah, anyway.
Hey, Chief.
I think it's kind of good that,
Everybody
Good
heard his
evening.
fair.
you know,
I think yours is gonna be a lot quicker than the last agenda item.
I think it will be very much quicker. I'll try to keep it under 2 minutes.
All right.
This is the annual adoption of the town's emergency management plan. There's a lot of stuff in this plan. I sent Kathleen a draft of it, which needs some clerical fixing up on it. But all the salient things are in there that you'd be approving. It's a legal document, and just so you understand exactly what you're approving, this is all goes through Title 20. And these are all the authority codes and the requirement for you to have one of these plans. In this plan, the town manager has the sole authority in the town to authorize emergency capital purchases and expenditures of funds related to prosecute an emergency. Okay, so that doesn't go through the regular purchasing process. She is also the only one who can request the governor, who can declare a local state of emergency and request the governor to declare an emergency. And with that, we set up a designation of emergency interim successors. In other words, if Kathleen is not available or she's incapacitated in some manner, there's a list of 5 other people in order which could assume the duties of the town manager in an emergency and declare the emergency, can request for state aid, things like that. It's important that if some major disaster did happen and the town manager or the successor declares an emergency, that opens the way for state aid.
mm-hmm.
In other words, if we needed whatever, you call it something from the National Guard, we would have to pay for it. Unless we declare an emergency and then had the governor likewise declare an emergency, in that case the state pays for it. So it's important to just know these kind of things that you're adopting when you adopt this plan.
so Lindsay.
Emergency purchases is another one. This is not trying to circumvent board authority on approving purchase orders or anything like that. This is solely to be able to prosecute an emergency where the normal process is available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It allows bills to be paid, that sort of thing. And finally, there's a couple of new additions to this year's plan. We added a couple of annexes dealing with Amtrak incidents. This came from Amtrak and a training that we had with Amtrak. We also put one in for pandemic preparation as well. So that's in there. And finally, we have just kind of a checklist. And this came out of one of the state exercises we had. Is how do you open up an EOC? And so we've developed a process for doing that. Anybody can just pick this up and look at it and be able to open the EOC here and now.
Chief,
Other than that, there's been, yes, I'm sorry.
could you please identify what an EOC is?
Emergency Operations Center.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I guess
And
I'm speaking official.com.
I did know what PD stood for. Too many
The
acronyms.
back of the plan, we have a whole section on a dictionary on all the acronyms.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
I didn't get that far.
That's pretty exciting. If you want to get to the back of the plan to look at that.
Yeah, so this plan is 179 pages.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it, other than just basic updates to the different town departments and some of the resource information that we go through for months to try to prepare for this plan. And that's it. It is due at the regional planning on May 1st. We'll get it out Friday when we just finish up doing some of the, I don't know what you call it, fixing the plan up to get the page numbers right and things like that. So your business now is, or not adopted, I guess.
Please.
I move to adopt the 2022 Middlebury Emergency Operations Plan as presented.
Second.
Are there any questions of Chief?
Is this in a lockbox somewhere? And do I get a key as number 5?
I've got it in a suitcase that I carry around. It's all
Oh.
Nice.
Look at all
It's a
the
public document,
names.
so anybody can get it.
Does it take more
We
than one
moved
of
to
us?
the town clerk's office.
Handcuffed to your wrist.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That was a resounding aye, Chief. And thank you
Yeah.
for joining us this evening.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Chief.
On to Dan.
There are 8 pages of acronyms, ending on page 158.
That's just the way
And
the
I totally
government
missed it.
swings.
I didn't see this.
I didn't make it that far, I don't think.
I tried to find what was new and couldn't find
I could have answered my own question. EOP, Emergency Operations Plan. Or, oh, no, it was an EOC.
Yes.
Then there's an EOP, and then there's an EOT. There's gonna be a test at 9 o'clock.
10
Thanks for
o'clock.
hanging in
Wake me
there.
up for it, please.
Oh, sorry. I had you off the screen. There we go.
Hey, Dan. Good evening.
Good evening. All right. So, first item is approval of a paving bid. I'm getting feedback, is that?
We
The
can't
sound
hear.
is really good on you, Dan, for us.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just live in a what's called a multiverse, is that what it is? Anyway. First item is a paving bid. This is for Katy Road. Just a little quick background. A few years ago, and Brian may be the only one who remembers this, we had an agreement, three-way agreement with Carrera and lumber company Johnson about doing some paving on Schoolhouse Hill Road is a joint three-way agreement. That's languished for many, many years. So in short, the infrastructure committee decided to use those funds, which is about $139,000 change, to do some paving in the East Middlebury area. So we got the bids back. It was kind of stretched the budget after we had gotten Colonial Drive bid out. So what we're asking tonight is for the board to approve just the one paving bid for Champlain Construction to do Katy Road. That's for $450,489. In the future board meeting, we'll come back to you to approve, hopefully, Pike's bid for just doing North Branch Road. That number has to be agreed upon with them because we're gonna knock off part of their initial bid for the North Branch, or for Lino Lane Kings Road project. So we got a little work on that one yet. So anyway, first item is approving Champlain construction for Katy Road for $450,489. And that would start in June, probably.
And Dan, you're looking for us to approve utilizing the funds that have been set aside for Schoolhouse Hill Road as well?
Yes, that's the first item, and
Yeah.
you can do that, and then you can move to do the contract to Champlain, award the bid to Champlain.
I'll move to approve using the funds set aside for the Schoolhouse Hill Road project for the paving of Katy Road.
I'll second. Oh.
Okay, any
Can I just-
questions on that?
Can I just make a quick note?
Shoot.
I don't think it was really stated or cleared in here, but when we get to Seymour Street, that road would qualify for a Class 2 paving grant as well. And we got a Class 2 paving grant for Katy Road, and it was Dan's expert opinion that it would be beneficial to show the state us using this
Yep.
sooner rather than later, so we could apply again, hopefully in a short amount of time to do maybe Seymour Street. So I just wanted to add that. Did I get that right, Dan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good. Absolutely, right on.
I didn't realize the condition of Katy was in need of repaving.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I mostly bicycle on it, and I thought it's all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Your seat must be
No,
squishier
no,
than
but-
mine. Yeah.
don't drive,
He's on a fat tire.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't
He doesn't even know there's a bump in the road.
120 PSI road bike, but okay,
drive that road in a commercial vehicle.
very good.
Okay. We have a motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'll move to award a contract to Champlain Construction for the Katy Road paving project at a total cost of $450,489.
Second.
Questions on that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Next one, I'm gonna recuse myself because it has to do with my company, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, so the next item is a highway tractor for roadside mowing. Bill Curran went out and requested bids, proposals for a tractor with a mower deck. And he got 2 bids back, one from Champlain Valley Equipment and the other one from United Ag and Turf, which formerly is known as, it's a John Deere dealer up on Route 7. For those aren't familiar with that. So anyway, Bill got some prices back from them, and the low bidder that is what we call responsible, in other words, they have what we need. The Champlain Valley Equipment is for a New Holland T-5-120 tractor. And with mower, it comes up to $136,326. And that's Bill's recommendation to the infrastructure committee, and requesting the board to approve that bid.
I'll move to award a contract to Champlain Valley Equipment for the purchase of a New Holland T5-120 tractor with the RBM 20/50 mower attachment with the 5-year extended warranty for a total cost of $136,326.
Second.
All right.
I'm curious why we're going from the loader to the tractor for this work.
The main thing is the mower attachment that was used on that loader is no longer manufactured.
It's a good reason.
It was produced by a little company. I think they're out of Washington State, I believe, and that unit is no longer made.
It was always.
I don't think there's a replacement.
Tractors are cooler.
Well, the tractor will have a bucket on it.
Yeah.
And so it will still be able to do some of the same functions
Okay.
that the loader would be able to do,
Okay.
because it will have a bucket on the tractor, and so,
So
and I
it's
think it's
almost a loader.
I think it's a, lower cost,
It's a
but,
side,
but still equivalent and useful piece of equipment. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's a side mount arm mower deck, like
Yeah,
you see some of the
Okay.
state roads use.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've seen them other towns
sure.
mowing, yeah.
Okay.
This isn't one with the arm that reaches. This-
No, it will have an arm on it.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Aye. So 5 and 1 abstention.
Extension, yeah. Next, we're going on to the Teen Center Energy
Okay.
Actions.
Yeah, so, Bill requested some bids for doing the insulation and windows and siding work on the teen center, and we didn't get any. So everybody's real busy.
So we talked around this at the infrastructure committee, and basically what we'd like to do is to have, you know, Bill Curran and Judy Harris work on being somewhat general contractors on it. One of the first things that happen are the windows that need to be put in. It would be a tremendous heat savings. So that's the path we're going to take. We really haven't, I don't think Bill has talked to Judy about being a general contractor.
I talked to Judy.
And maybe that's something we can, you know, did you, Kathleen?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We've hired Judy enough at this point, we might as well just put her on the payroll.
So, yeah, so that's how we're gonna approach it. Hopefully get a little cost savings by using some of the, maybe some smaller, you know, contractors around here to get that thing moving. So that's what the request is, to approve Judy act as a general contractor and serve with Bill and my help on it.
Brilliant. I move to approve Judith Harris to act as general contractor for the Teen Center Windows project to purchase windows and facilitate installation of windows.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Library.
Library, Dana Hart has a memo in your packet about a bid recommendation for doing the restoration of the historic windows at the library. There was one bid, it was from Willard Street Traditions LLC. This is the same company that did the work last, it's about a year, 2 years ago, on the other historic windows. Those are the ones on the first and second floor that face the parking lot. This project is the main entrance and the front facade of the building, those large double hungs, the 2 entrance doors, and which are now, well, were formerly coat racks of that building. So it's the ones that are most visible from the public inside and out. Anyway, the bid for the work is from Willard Street Traditions, $26,895. And she did get a grant for part of the project. It's $9,687, and she had money set aside for this specifically for this project of also $9,687, and then she's going to tap some capital money left over from the previous roof project to fund the project. So the request is to have you approve Willard Street Traditions bid of $26,895.
I'll move to award a contract to Willard Street Traditions LLC for the final phase of the restoration of the Isley Library historic windows at a total cost of $26,895.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Dan, well pump.
Oh.
Okay, so there's a memo and lengthy description from Bill Kernan about replacing the pump out of well 2, which is also called Palmer Springs well. The estimate is $38,000 to $43,000. We had some work done on this well over the past few months, and when they pulled it, there was some pump wear. It's a little beyond what everybody wanted to see, but it's been in there for, I can't remember, is it 12 years maybe? It's pumped a heck of a lot of water. It's the main well pump for the town. So he's requesting we award the work to Ross Valve. They are from New York. The company that did supply the well that's in there now no longer does and are no longer in business. So we're going to an alternate source. So the request tonight is for you to approve the work by Ross Valve to replace that pump in that well pit.
I move to award a contract to Ross Val for replacing Palmer Springs well pump number 2 at a cost estimate between $38,000 and $43,000.
Second.
Any questions on that?
So I'm just curious, you've got a working pump in there now, you're getting a new pump because it's showing signs of wear. Do you leave the existing pump until it dies, or do you put the new pump in?
It'll go in as soon as this new one arrives and they can schedule the work. What's happened is when that pump shuts down, there's you can't see my hand, but there's bearing wear, and that pump will just vibrate, and the whole motor will just sit there and just kind of shake on the stand. So it's time to get it out of there. We did the motor just a few months ago, and we don't want to have that motor damaged.
Gotcha.
By that vibration. So we'll
Okay.
get at it as soon as we can.
Yeah, good question. Anything else? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Seymour Street.
Okay, so I think your last board meeting, you had some comments from Kevin Verizzo, who's a Seymour Street resident, about the ditches and drainage and just general conditions of Seymour Street. So the infrastructure committee had a discussion about it. Just to refresh, back in 2002, we had Otter Creek Engineering prepare, engineering redesign of that road, and storm sewer, gravity sewer, force main sewer, and water main. In the end, we only did the water main because the town was just not setting enough funds aside to do this kind of work. So at that time, the road surface was just recycled and a very thin coat of pavement put on it. Hoping we'd get about 7 years out of it, and here we are about 20 years later. So in other words, it's tired and it's due. So as Heather mentioned earlier, that's a Class 2 road, and so it would qualify for a Class 2 paving grant in the future, hence the need to do Katy Road and get that off the state's books. And so this road would qualify for a Class 2 paving grant. Now, obviously, it's going to be more money than that, but it's a big help. So what we're going to do is pull out those plans, have Otter Creek Engineering take a good look at them, and then prepare cost estimates for the project. I believe sanitary sewer will not have a problem, or the sewer fund will not have a problem doing their part. It's just going to be mostly the road portion and how we schedule that. But anyway, the point is we're going to pull it out, dust it off, and look at some costs for us when we get into August, September for capital improvement plan to see where it'll fit in. So that's where that's at. And in my note, the Tri-Town Bike Loop is going to use that route for their project, and so it'd be a good time to kind of get thoughts on that and see what might help that process too.
I also note,
Any
Dan,
thoughts?
the comments about trying to incorporate some green infrastructure. Did we talk about a book that was
Yes.
available?
Yep.
Did we get those
I
for us?
have a couple of spares upstairs.
Okay, I just want to educate myself a little bit what we talk about.
Yeah, so this project at this point in time would be a good opportunity to take a look at that. And it says Bill will connect with Otter Creek to modify the plans, but I'm assuming that meant Dan would. Yeah. Hey, Dan, can I ask you a question? Do you recall if
Sure.
the original plans included the pump station replacement in that? The
I think it was just
sorry. I wasn't sure if I was
I
using
think it
the
was
right.
just the force main from.
Go, Dan.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
I think it was just the force main from that pump. I think it was just the force main from that pump station, and then also the gravity sewer, which is they're all on the west side of that street.
I think we should consider, either as part of this project or as part of the wastewater treatment plant upgrades, considering replacing some of these older pump stations that aren't in very good shape. Like, we need to have start getting on that as well, I think.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a chat with Bob Wells about what his needs are for that. I mean, that station does not have a permanent standby generator. It's a trailer thing. And I know there's not a lot of usage at that pump station, but, you know, there's no way he's gonna get a trailer down into that hole that pump station sits in. So we'll have a chat about that.
Okay.
Get that sorted out.
And I heard, I don't remember if I heard or read that, but that, Virgin's got a pretty sizable grant from USDA. So I'm hoping we might be able to get some funds as well and maybe bang off some of this deferred maintenance, at least on the sewer side of things. We still have to address the road and, stuff, so, anyway.
Right. Okay.
Dan?
All right, if there's no further questions, I'll go on to
Overnight parking?
to the next one, which is overnight parking. Yeah, the committee just kind of got a refresher on, you know, how we were doing with where these overnight parking spots were. Chief Hanley did a good coverage on that. But I just wanted to, you know, refresh the board and the public. We've put these maps of where these overnight parking places are on the town website. So when people either approach you or, you know, have a question about overnight parking, or someone comes into the town offices, we can show them or refer them to this map so they know where they're at. So that was the
This was a new,
wrap up of the overnight parking situation.
this is a new addition to the website, right? Yeah, I think this might be all we needed for a solution was to,
And now that we have that up, we can add it to our annual notice that we do in the fall, saying that on-street parking is not allowed.
yeah.
Great.
Okay, thanks, good solution. Anything else for Dan, or anything else you have for us, Dan?
I'm finished then.
You're good?
Unless you have something else.
Okay,
Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
thanks a lot, Dan.
All right. Hey. You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thanks, Dan.
Should we adjust the agenda to get Chief
Okay.
Shaw in here?
Unless, is the Churchill family present on this at all?
They are not present, but
They're not
we're
present?
ready to go on that. Either way, I think we can go ahead with Dave, or.
Dave, come on forward. We're gonna move you up if there's not somebody else is on the agenda waiting for us here.
Welcome.
So, Chief Shaw's here to talk to us about some turnout gear.
Right, we're back for our annual request to allow us to become compliant with the NFPA requirement for turnout gear. This year, our request would be for 5 sets turnout gear for a total amount of $11,820.68.
He's speaking so softly because he's been here so long, he's half
what it is?
asleep.
I like your idea. I think it'll pan out.
David, you had me going a little bit because I thought you said 5 cents.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
that's what I heard too.
I don't know.
I could start over.
No, 5 cents on the tax rate.
I don't
No,
know about you, Dave, but I'm getting a little older and I'm hard of hearing, so
I think, Brian, you and I are in the same boat, rowing 2 different directions, but that's fine. I did notice a typo. I write 6 and then put 5 there, so I'm keeping you guessing.
Okay.
But it is for 5 sets.
Great.
I'll move to award a contract to Bergeron Protective Clothing under the sole source purchase provision of the purchasing policy for the purchase of 5 sets of firefighting turnout gear at a total cost of $11,820.68.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Super, thank you much.
Is there anything else we should know while you're here?
Yes, we actually have a new fire truck. It did arrive. It's not a fictitious thing. It actually does exist. It arrived yesterday, yeah.
I heard
Fantastic.
it arrived this week.
Yeah, so it came
When's
in
our
yesterday.
next
So the
field
next,
trip?
the next select board meeting, we'll have it out back before the meeting. You
Oh.
can
Yay.
feel it and touch it and all that
Can you
good stuff.
remind me how much we paid for that?
$600,000. Yeah.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. It's a lot of truck and, yeah. And you can see that-
Exciting.
Have you taken it for a spin yet?
Yeah. Of course I've taken it. Signed the paperwork, so I'm spinning the wheels off that before. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, it should be. I mean,
Yeah,
it took a
but
long
for that amount
time.
of
We got a
money.
lot of work in it. It's 2.5 years worth of community work, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've,
How's your enrollment?
well, I was gonna say, you know, you have way too much help here. We certainly could use it at 5 Seymour Street.
Wow.
That's not getting any better, for sure.
Yikes.
I was just at a conference this weekend, and we're all in the same boat. Yeah. Statewide. They're actually closed the fire department because of it, so. We'll do our best. We're
Close.
remodeling our website and working on that, and that's really where we need to reach out to new and possible members. That's the medium that they're using the most, so we'll reach out to them.
And you should think about maybe the markets in town and stuff while people are milling about.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Um,
take advantage of the nonprofit night at the Thursday market
I'm
one
gonna start
time.
at the jazz thing at the Middlebury Inn first.
that sounds like a good time. Yeah, and if you come to trivia at the Marquee, there's about 60 people there who
Good.
look young and healthy.
Good. Perfect.
Which department closed?
Down in southern Vermont, Vernon, they shut it down and
No
we started it back again.
kidding.
Yeah, there's some issues there for sure, outside of that.
Wow.
And then, can I replace that extension cord? So that extension cord, we had a similar fire because of an extension cord like that, that's constantly wound up. You create an electrical coil.
Oh, yeah.
See how that one's all twisted toward the end? Yeah, so
Thank
Yes.
you.
we'll buy a new one.
Thank you, Chief.
Appreciate that.
You're gonna bring it in with your turnout
We'll
gear?
bring up a new truck.
All right.
Oh, that's
That's it.
exciting.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
So I should not store my extension cords like that?
Yeah, just unwind it when you use them.
Okay, very good. Because I definitely wrap all my extension cords
Yeah,
just
me
like
too.
that.
I do 'em all.
You don't wanna start that house on fire. It's too big. We don't have enough firemen in it.
That's right.
That far out and that-
Yeah.
Okay, next is a request from the Churchill family of 1 Forest Lane for the conveyance of additional property from the town. If you remember, in September, we approved a request from the Churchill Family Trust to quitclaim a 50-foot by 62-foot parcel, .07 acres of town-owned land at 1 Forest Lane that sits beneath the garage structure on the property. The family is now seeking board approval for a second quitclaim deed request, this time comprising 2 small adjacent parcels totaling .12 acres. The proposed boundary line adjustment would encompass lands that now include a fenced dockyard and a septic system on the property. At our March 22nd meeting, the board discussed the Churchill's request and expressed several concerns. One was the value of the property. Based on the assessed value of a large parcel of land in the high-density residential zoning district, 100.5 acres assessed at $350,500, or $3,487.56 per acre. The calculated value of the total of the 1.19 acres, which is the .07 acres that we've already quitclaimed, and the 2020, or the already approved, and the 2021, in 2021, plus the additional .12 acres that we're currently reviewing, would be $662.63. Prior to our March meeting, Kathleen had negotiated a value of $1,500 with the Churchill family, and in response to concerns expressed at the meeting, subsequently negotiated an agreed-upon value of $2,500 with the Churchill family. The other concern was setback required for the fence, and Kathleen has confirmed that there is no setback requirements for fences. Subsequent to the meeting, Fred Dunnington provided a copy of the Churchill's deed, which includes an easement for a town water line. And Kathleen has shared this information with the surveyor and will work with council to recognize this easement in any quitclaim deed that we approve. As a reminder, the proposed conveyance of town-owned land will trigger a required public notification process under 24 VSA Section 1061. If the board is amenable to the request, the next step would be to authorize Kathleen to work with council to draft the required 24 VSA Section 1061 notice, including a draft quitclaim deed for the conveyance of the .19 acres total of town-owned land at 1 Forest Lane to the Churchill family.
I think we should probably do this. I really don't like the idea of people building on land that isn't theirs, as we discussed previously. Here we are.
I'll move to authorize Town Manager Kathleen Ramsay to work with the council to draft the required 24 VSA 1061 notice, including a draft quitclaim deed for the conveyance of .19 acres of town-owned land located at 1 Forest Lane to the Churchill family.
Second.
Any comments on the motion? I think Kathleen has brought us at least a reasonable offer for the value of the land and solves a long-term problem and puts that behind us.
Yep.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstention?
I guess I said aye, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of town's consent to merger was deleted, postponed. A report on our April 19th annual strategic planning retreat. For those that are watching, we had our annual board retreat where we talk about what the priorities are. And just so everybody knows, we're in Jen Murray, our town planner, spent the better part of our retreat, a good hour and a half, reviewing with us the proposed changes to zoning that would bring the town forward to the way people live today versus the more traditional zoning of decades ago, post-World War II, I would say. There's a number of changes. The process is now, after the board has gotten a look at it and had a chance to make comments, the process is moving forward. It went through the DRB, I believe, or it's coming up this month.
And it went to the planning commission. The planning commission has approved it has warned it.
Warned it, so now it's gone to the adjacent town, or will be sent to the adjacent towns.
And it is all now posted on the town's website.
And so anybody who's interested, we would encourage you to go to the town's website to review it. I know I was I won't speak for my other board members, but I was very impressed with the work that the team has been doing to review and update zoning. And I think there's a lot of good changes that provide opportunity for infill housing and stuff that we've been asking for over the course of the last half dozen years. So we'll look for the town to to provide comments at, as we move forward and schedule hearings on this. Otherwise, we reaffirmed our priority of two, yes, encourage growth in housing that supports our working class and lower income families in the community. And this zoning, these zoning revisions are one of the activities that the town is working very hard to help make that happen. And secondly, to do what we can to try to encourage and promote growth in childcare opportunities for the average family in our community. Did I miss anything? Those are kind of the
That's good summary.
three biggies.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to comment since the meeting to Jen, but in a lot of what my comments were when I went back and looked at my notes was about acronyms. And then when I saw the, when Chief pointed out the acronym glossary in the
Emergency plan?
I wondered if we could do the same thing for this. So there are places where the acronyms are identified, but it's often at the beginning of a section. And then if you're looking at you're looking for a specific section, you go to that section. You have to then search for the acronyms, and I just wondered if it would be
Glossaries are useful.
possible to put an acronym glossary for this. And I think that would be my biggest comment, request for this particular document, other than what Jen has already covered with us.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna ask Dan for the check warrants.
Okay, I move to approve total expenditures in the amount of $315,111.72, consisting of $210,167.10 for accounts payable, and $104,944.62 for payroll for the period of April 13th, 2022 through April 26th, 2022.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, board member concerns. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Kathleen. The spreadsheet that you put together for the appointments was so.
Yeah, not me, and
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking about some even further improvements on that.
Yeah, but when I was doing my homework, I felt good and was able to read and understand.
Always
so.
appreciated.
Yeah, so thank you. This was a
Color coding, I love.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was so helpful.
Yeah.
But hard night with all the appointing people, different places. But it was a good one. So thank you, team.
Andy, you're Andy Hooper.
I am Andy Hooper, thanks. No, I was just making sure that, checking to see if the colored paper had been replaced by a bona fide piece of plastic, and it has. Makes me feel very official.
Feels like he's a real board member.
That's right. I belong. I spent Saturday morning walking the Means land with a neighbor who is more concerned about the development than my wife and I are. Trespassing, I guess it's called. But we were walking around in the mud and trying to imagine. There is one no trespassing sign. Anyway, personally very excited about the potentials there, and it's a neat piece of property, and will probably get us a better sidewalk or a continuous sidewalk, and it's exciting.
Okay, it's an interesting viewpoint. I like that. There.
We can put you more sidewalk as long as we can have a conversation that I want to have about manpower and equipment.
No, absolutely.
And then I'll talk about more sidewalk. I'm good.
Okay, Dan?
I'm fine and don't need any sidewalks where I live, so we're fine.
Nothing for me.
Lindsay? Nothing. So, it's 9 o'clock. I thought we were gonna get done a little bit early.
told you.
And I jinxed us.
You didn't
Yes.
knock when I told you to knock on
Yes.
wood.
No.
You didn't, because you
Yes.
thought I was being silly, and now we see that I'm right.
So, I am surrounded by ladies who are always right.
Good point, Brian.
Yeah.
It's a real problem for me. And it doesn't do much for my ego, but I, once again, stand corrected. We do have need for an executive session for an update on real estates and contracts. So if somebody would take us into executive session, please.
No,
Oh, you passed that on.
I passed the torch on that one.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, Jeff.
In accordance with Vermont's open meeting law requirements, I move that the board find that premature general knowledge of the consideration of real estate would clearly place the select board at a substantial disadvantage because the select board risks disclosing its litigation strategy if it discusses the real estate in public.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I further move that the board enter into executive session to discuss real estate under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1 of the Vermont statutes.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So we'll move into executive session at 9:02.